Have you ever been lying in the dark, staring at the ceiling at 3 a.m., feeling that crushing, suffocating weight of a life that just feels broken? You look at your bank account, your relationships, or maybe just the reflection in the mirror, and you think to yourself, is this it? Is this all I'm ever going to be? It's a terrifying place to be, right? But here is a question that might just stop your heart for a second. If everything you've worked for was wiped out tomorrow, would you have the guts to look at the wreckage and call it a new beginning, or would you just let the failure swallow you whole? Most people are terrified of failing because they think it's the end of the road. But look at Angelina Jolie. People see the Hollywood royalty, the fame, the endless red carpets, but they completely ignore the fact that she has walked through literal fire, public humiliation, devastating personal losses, and life-altering decisions that would have sent any of us into a permanent hiding spot. Yet, every single time the world expected her to shatter, she didn't just put the pieces back together. She rebuilt herself into someone entirely new, someone sharper, stronger, and more unshakable. If you feel like life has knocked you down and you're tired of playing the victim, you need to stay glued to this video. Because today, I'm not just talking about Angelina, I'm talking about the raw, unfiltered blueprint of how to turn your absolute worst nightmares into the foundation of your greatest empire. Let's be real for a minute, because I know you're tired of the fake, polished advice you see on social media. We love to talk about success, but we are terrified of the ugly, messy, brutal process of rebuilding. You think Angelina Jolie just snapped her fingers and walked out of her hardest moments with a smile? No, she went through the mud. But the reason she's still here, while others have faded into obscurity, is because she mastered the art of strategic detachment. She realized, much earlier than most of us, that failure is not an identity. When you fail, whether it's a business deal, a marriage, or just a goal you missed, you have a split-second choice to make. Are you going to define yourself by the event, or are you going to use it as data? Most people get stuck in the emotional loop of, I failed, so I am a failure. Angelina, she treats her life like a project. If something doesn't work, she doesn't cry over it for a decade. She dissects it, learns the lesson, and pivots. That is the superpower that makes her unstoppable. And guess what? You have that exact same potential, but you're currently burying it under layers of guilt, regret, and the fear of what your neighbors might think. Here is the secret nobody wants to tell you. You are holding on to your pain because it's familiar. It's like an old, ragged blanket that doesn't keep you warm, but you're scared to let it go because you don't know who you are without it. Angelina Jolie had to learn to let go of the parts of herself that the public expected her to be. Think about the massive pressure she faces, millions of eyes, constant judgment, the weight of the whole world watching her every move. If she had tried to please everyone, she would have imploded years ago. Instead, she chose to define herself on her own terms, even when it made her unpopular. Are you willing to be unpopular to be free? Because that is the price of total self-reinvention. You cannot become someone new if you are desperately clinging to the approval of the people who knew the old you. You have to be willing to walk into a room and be the person who nobody understands, because you're busy building a version of yourself that is actually capable of greatness. That takes guts. That takes a level of mental independence that most people never reach in their entire lives. Now, let's talk about the why. Why do you keep getting knocked down? Maybe it's because you aren't learning the lesson. Failure isn't a punishment from the universe, it's a course correction. It's the universe's way of saying, you're going in the wrong direction, wake up. When Angelina went through her darkest phases, she didn't just retreat. She poured herself into her work, into her children, into humanitarian efforts. She shifted her focus from her internal pain to external impact. That is the most effective hack for survival. When your life feels like a total disaster, stop focusing on, how can I fix my mood, and start focusing on, how can I serve someone else? It instantly puts things into perspective. It forces you to get out of your own head, where the monsters are, and start interacting with reality. If you are struggling right now, I challenge you to find one thing outside of yourself that needs your help, and give it everything you've got. You'll be shocked at how quickly your own problems start to shrink when you have a bigger mission to tackle. But let's push this even further. Rebuilding isn't just about shifting focus, it's about a brutal audit of your environment. Angelina understood that who you spend your time with determines your ceiling. If you are surrounded by people who constantly remind you of your failures or who feed your victimhood, you will never evolve. You have to be willing to prune your life. Sometimes, that means leaving behind old friendships, old habits, or even old environments that no longer align with the person you are becoming. It's not about being mean, it's about being strategic with your resources. Your energy is your most valuable currency. If you spend it on things that don't move the needle, you're just wasting your life. Strive for a standard that is higher than anyone else expects of you. When the world is content with good enough, you should be aiming for exceptional. That kind of excellence is the ultimate revenge against those who doubted you and the ultimate validation for yourself. I know you might be sitting there thinking, but you don't know my situation. It's different. It's too late for me. That is exactly the kind of victim mentality trap that Angelina refuses to fall for. Too late is just a story you tell yourself because you're scared to start the hard work of building from scratch. Look, she has pivoted her career, her lifestyle, and her mindset so many times that it's hard to keep count. She isn't defined by her past, and you shouldn't be either. You are a biological machine capable of incredible adaptation. If you stop feeding your mind the "it's too late" narrative and start feeding it the "what's next" narrative, your brain will actually start looking for solutions instead of excuses. It's literally how your nervous system works. But you have to take the first step. You have to admit that you've been wrong, you've been scared, and you've been stagnant, and then you have to choose to move. True resilience isn't about not feeling the pain, it's about feeling the pain and continuing to take the necessary steps toward your objective anyway. We are building something special in this community. We aren't here for the fluff. We are here for the hard, tactical, psychological tools you need to survive and thrive in a world that wants to keep you small. Every single video we drop is a lesson in how to build a mind that can handle anything. I'm putting my life's work into making sure you have the insights you need to get back up, dust yourself off, and launch your next chapter. If you're tired of the cycle of falling and staying down, then you belong here. Hit that subscribe button right now, turn on those notifications, and join us. This isn't a passive audience, this is a group of people who are serious about results. I read every single comment, and I'm going to be using your feedback to shape the next few videos, so let me know in the comments, what is the one thing you are currently struggling to let go of? Let's put it on the table and deal with it together. Think about where you could be in 1 year if you stopped looking back and started aggressively building the future. Imagine looking in the mirror and not seeing someone who was damaged, but someone who was battle-hardened and ready for anything. That is the Angelina Jolie effect. That is the unstoppable mindset. You have it in you, but you have to stop negotiating with your comfort zone. Today is the day you draw a line in the sand. You decide that the failure you just went through is not the end of your book, it's just the most interesting plot twist before the protagonist turns it all around. You've got fire in your veins. Don't let the world blow it out. Keep showing up, keep building, and remember that no matter how hard you fall, the only way to lose is to stop getting back up. Follow the channel, keep your eyes on the mission, and I'll see you in the next one. We're just getting started. Your potential is not fixed. It is waiting to be expanded, and that only happens when you decide to stop fearing the process of destruction and start embracing the process of creation. Go out there and conquer your obstacles, because they aren't there to stop you, they're there to reveal exactly what you're made of.